The Hand of the King is the second most powerful person in the Seven Kingdoms, the one who rules when the king cannot, commands armies in the king's name, and shapes policy that affects millions. But being appointed hand doesn't mean you're actually good at the job. In this video, I'm ranking every major hand of the king from Game of Thrones based on their political wisdom, their ability to navigate court intrigue, make strategic decisions, and actually keep the realm functioning. This isn't about loyalty or morality. It's about who understood the game and played it best. But before we dive in, let me clarify something. Political wisdom isn't the same as being a good person. Some of the wisest hands were absolute monsters, while some of the most honorable were political disasters. The question is simple: who actually knew how to wield power effectively? So let's count down every major hand of the king ranked by political wisdom, starting with number 10, Ned Stark. The most controversial ranking on this list, but it has to be said. Ned Stark was a terrible hand of the king. Yes, he was honorable. Yes, he was a great lord in the north. But in King's Landing, his rigid sense of honor became his greatest weakness. Ned's fundamental mistake was treating southern politics like northern honor. He warned Cersei that he knew about her children's parentage, giving her time to prepare her counterattack. He trusted Littlefinger despite every warning sign. He refused to take the throne when he had the chance, insisting on Stannis' claim even though it meant civil war. What makes Ned's political wisdom so lacking is that he had multiple opportunities to secure his position and protect his family, but his honor prevented him from taking any of them. Renly offered him an alliance. Ned refused. Littlefinger suggested seizing Joffrey first. Ned rejected it as dishonorable. Even at the end, he could have maintained his accusation and died with integrity, but instead he falsely confessed to save his daughters. Ned Stark was a good man in a game that punished goodness. His execution set off the War of the Five Kings, destabilized the realm, and led to the deaths of thousands. As a hand, his political wisdom was virtually non-existent. Number 9. Qyburn. The disgraced Maester who became Cersei's hand represents a different kind of political failure: competence without vision. Qyburn was brilliant at his specific tasks, but he lacked the broader strategic thinking required of a true hand. Qyburn's strength was his complete lack of moral boundaries. He created the Mountain 2.0, managed Cersei's spy network, and eliminated her enemies with ruthless efficiency. He understood how to serve his queen's immediate desires perfectly. What makes Qyburn rank so low is that he never questioned whether Cersei's desires were politically wise. A good hand tempers the monarch's worst impulses. Qyburn enabled them. He never pushed back, never offered alternative strategies, and never considered the long-term consequences of Cersei's increasingly erratic decisions. His death, crushed by his own creation during Daenerys' attack, symbolizes his political wisdom perfectly. He built tools of destruction without considering they might be turned against him. Number 8. Jon Arryn. The hand who started it all, Jon Arryn's political wisdom is difficult to assess because we see so little of it. What we know is that he kept Robert's kingdom functioning for 15 years despite the king's complete disinterest in governance. Arryn's greatest achievement was maintaining stability. He managed the realm's finances, kept the great houses from each other's throats, and prevented Robert's worst impulses from destroying the kingdom. His investigation into the Baratheon children's parentage showed political courage. He was willing to uncover a truth that would shake the realm. What keeps Arryn from ranking higher is that his investigation was clumsy enough to get him killed. A wiser hand would have secured his position before pursuing such dangerous knowledge, or at least ensured that his findings would survive his death. His murder by his own wife, manipulated by Littlefinger, shows he failed to see threats in his own household. Number 7. Orton Merryweather. A minor character but worth mentioning. Merryweather served as Cersei's hand after Tywin's death and before Qyburn. His political wisdom can be summed up simply: he knew when to get out. Merryweather understood that serving Cersei was a losing proposition. When she was arrested by the Faith militant, he immediately fled to Longtable, abandoning his position to save himself. This shows a certain political wisdom, recognizing a sinking ship and jumping off before it drags you down. However, his brief tenure accomplished nothing, and his cowardly exit destroyed his house's reputation. Sometimes political wisdom means knowing when to cut your losses, but Merryweather's complete lack of achievement keeps him in the bottom half of this ranking. Number 6. Mace Tyrell. The Lord of Highgarden served briefly as hand under Tommen, and while he's often portrayed as a buffoon, he showed more political wisdom than he's given credit for. Mace understood the fundamental truth of Westerosi politics. Sometimes it's better to appear less threatening than you are. Mace's political wisdom lay in his ability to advance his house's interests while letting others underestimate him. He secured his daughter's position as queen, placed his son on the King's Guard, and positioned House Tyrell as the power behind the throne. His apparent vanity and foolishness made him seem harmless while he accumulated real power. What keeps Mace from ranking higher is that he failed to see the Faith militant threat until it was too late. His entire family was destroyed in the September of Baelor because he didn't recognize how dangerous Cersei had become. A wiser hand would have secured his family's safety before attending that trial. Number 5. Kevan Lannister. Tywin's younger brother served briefly as Hand and showed exactly what the position should be: competent, pragmatic, and willing to make hard decisions for the realm's good. Kevan understood that his job was to clean up the mess his family had made. Kevan's political wisdom showed in his first acts as Hand. He removed Cersei from power, recognizing she was a liability. He began repairing relationships with the Tyrells. He started addressing the Faith militant problem strategically rather than emotionally. In his brief tenure, he demonstrated more political sense than most Hands show in years. What keeps Kevan from ranking higher is that he never got the chance to fully implement his vision. His assassination by Varys, specifically because he was too competent and would have stabilized the realm, shows that he was on the right track. But political wisdom also means protecting yourself from threats, and Kevan failed to see Varys coming. Number 4. Tyrion Lannister. The imp served as Hand twice, once for Joffrey and once for Daenerys, and both times showed remarkable political wisdom mixed with critical blind spots. Tyrion understood the game better than almost anyone, but his personal demons often undermined his strategic brilliance. Tyrion's greatest achievement as Hand was the defense of King's Landing during the Battle of the Blackwater. He recognized the threat, prepared the city's defenses, and personally led the counterattack that saved the city. He managed the small council effectively, outmaneuvered his sister repeatedly, and kept the realm functioning despite Joffrey's madness. What keeps Tyrion from ranking higher is his later failures as Hand to Daenerys. His plans consistently failed. The Greyjoy alliance collapsed, the Dornish alliance was destroyed, and his strategy for taking Casterly Rock proved worthless. His belief that people would respond to reason and mercy blinded him to the reality that sometimes force is necessary. Tyrion's political wisdom was genuine but incomplete. He understood the game intellectually, but let his emotions, his desire to be loved, his guilt over his family, cloud his judgment at critical moments. Number 3. Petyr Baelish. Littlefinger never officially held the title of Hand, but he served on the Small Council and wielded more power than most Hands ever did. His political wisdom was extraordinary. He understood that chaos wasn't something to be avoided, but a ladder to be climbed. Baelish's genius lay in his ability to manipulate events from the shadows. He orchestrated Jon Arryn's death, betrayed Ned Stark, helped start the War of the Five Kings, and positioned himself to control the Vale, all while appearing to be a minor player. His understanding of human nature, his patience, and his willingness to play the long game showed political wisdom of the highest order. What keeps Baelish from ranking higher is that his wisdom was entirely self-serving and ultimately self-destructive. He created chaos without considering that he might eventually lose control of it. His obsession with Catelyn and later Sansa became his weakness, showing that even the wisest players can be undone by their desires. Number 2. Tywin Lannister. The Lion of Casterly Rock served as Hand twice, once for the Mad King and once for his grandson Joffrey, and both times demonstrated why he's considered one of the greatest political minds in Westerosi history. Tywin understood power in all its forms and wielded it with ruthless efficiency. Tywin's political wisdom showed in everything he did. The Red Wedding, while morally monstrous, was politically brilliant. It ended the Northern Rebellion without risking his own forces. His management of the realm's finances, his strategic marriages, and his ability to maintain order through reputation alone all demonstrated masterful political understanding. What made Tywin particularly wise was his long-term thinking. He didn't just win battles, he built a legacy. Every decision was calculated to strengthen House Lannister for generations. His famous destruction of House Reyne wasn't just revenge, it was a message that ensured decades of obedience from other houses. What keeps Tywin from the top spot is his critical blind spot, his own family. His treatment of Tyrion, his inability to control Cersei, and his failure to see Jaime's limitations all stemmed from his obsession with legacy over reality. His death on a privy, killed by the son he despised, shows that even the wisest political mind can fail to see threats from within. Number 1. Varys. The Spider never held the title of Hand, but he served on the Small Council under multiple kings and demonstrated political wisdom that surpassed everyone else on this list. What makes Varys the wisest is that he understood something others missed. That true political wisdom means serving the realm, not yourself. Varys' genius lay in his information network and his patience. He knew everything that happened in King's Landing and beyond. He played the long game better than anyone, working for decades to position the right ruler on the throne. Unlike Littlefinger, who created chaos for personal gain, Varys created chaos to serve what he believed was the greater good. What makes Varys' political wisdom supreme is his adaptability. He served Robert, then worked to restore the Targaryens, then supported Daenerys, and finally backed Jon Snow when he realized Daenerys was becoming a tyrant. He wasn't loyal to individuals, but to his vision of a better realm. Varys understood that political wisdom isn't about winning the game, it's about knowing what game you're really playing. While others fought for the Iron Throne, Varys fought for the realm itself. His willingness to die for his principles, executed by Daenerys for treason, showed that his wisdom extended to knowing when the game was lost. His final act, spreading the truth about Jon's parentage, ensured that even in death, he shaped the realm's future. That's the mark of true political wisdom. So there you have it, every major hand of the king ranked by political wisdom. From Ned Stark's honorable incompetence to Varys' selfless brilliance, these men shaped the Seven Kingdoms for better or worse. But what do you think? Did I rank these hands correctly? Should Tywin be number 1? Was Ned really that bad at politics, or was he just in an impossible situation? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Explainified for more deep dives into your favorite shows. And check out our video on the worst political decisions in Game of Thrones to see these hands' biggest mistakes in action. Thanks for watching, and remember, in the Game of Thrones, the hand that serves the realm serves longest. Unless you're Ned Stark.